What's up, guys? It's XCOM Banks, or you can call me Colton if you want. This is the first episode of Morningwood. It's about 4:45 in the morning, so it's gonna be a little different than the last commentary because I'm not gonna answer any questions. But I do have a very important topic. In my opinion, it's pretty much like the most important topic of all, life, obviously. Um, so, just gonna let you guys know my opinion on life. Um, you know, if you got time, to listen to this, um, it could really, help you guys out. Give you guys some tips on life that, will make things better for you. Actually, most likely, definitely, they will actually. Um, where do I start? Um, oh man, where do I start? I guess let's start off with like the choices you make in life, like even like the little choices, like people, like that's something, like this is something I never did was, I'm not gonna say I never did, but definitely did at some point, but I rarely ever was ever make fun of people, and that was, or just like, talk crap about someone, or, I don't like to do that, unless I'm like in a game and, some kid won't shut up and he's like making fun of someone or like something, or like talking about a friend, then I stand up for him. But I don't usually don't try to call people names or like anything like that. um let's forget that. But okay, so just like try to view me as like this like everyday person. So far, a lot of experience in life, in my life, my 19 years, I've learned a lot, like especially in like the past year and a half. I've learned a lot, like in the past year. In this past year, a lot of stuff's been helping me out. So let me start this off. Um, so let me start off like the most important traits that somebody can have. Um, the number three, probably most important traits that someone can have is like someone's understanding. If you're understanding, that's just, that's awesome. Like the second most important is respect. If you have respect for me, I'm obviously gonna have respect for you. You have respect for people, and you'll get along with anyone. Um, like the first most important trait is honesty. I'm sure you guys already know that. If you're honest with yourself, then you have to be honest with yourself before you can be honest with other people. If there's one thing you should know about me is, I really don't like people that are fake. Not necessarily. I hate the fact that trait is in people. That being fake or acting fake. Lying. That's just not something that I don't like. I don't like liars. I don't like negativity. I like positivity, and that's, it's a weakness. Negativity is a weakness. You know, so obviously, everyone has their weaknesses, but I try to have like the least, flaws that I actually can. Not flaws, like weaknesses. Um, you try to live life carefree and no regrets. Don't look back. Um, you know, something that happened. You don't want to regret something that happened. Like that's the thing. Like I don't regret. Everything happens for a reason. But if you're honest with yourself and you're honest with people, you'll never have to look back and regret it. If there's like say I did something bad, um, that was like really affected something, I would definitely I'd rather be honest, and just or if I did something that I believe um, was necessary or good, um, you know, then I will, need to take in order to get to something or achieve something. You know, um, if it affects someone, then, and they ask me, I'm not gonna lie to them, but man, what is that? Um, the possibility of them finding out later that that you lied, and it's not, I don't know, it's not cool, you know. Like, I view liars as a weakness, you know, pretty much. It's a trait that really nobody likes. You know, everyone tells white lies. You know, I tell white lies all the time. You know, if you don't know what white lies are, it's like small lies. Like, I'm trying to think of one. Like, as long as it's something like that you're gonna change for like the better. Like, for example, say, like homework. You know, like say I didn't do my homework, and you know my mom asked, "Did you do your homework?" You know, I would tell her that I did. You know, because I'd be planning to do it, or you know, to raise my grades up, or you know, something like that. You know, because that's, you know, I told them I told them kind of white lies a lot, but you know, like, you know, white lies aren't really important, but like, you know, I was just expressing my view, you know. Video's like almost like halfway done, man. Yeah, so if you're honest with yourself, you know, that's something that I said, but you know, before in a live stream, you know, if that's, it's like peer pressure, you know, don't do it, don't follow it, you know, unless you believe that it's right, don't do it, you know, don't listen to people. Um, you know, for example, like I've said before in some live streams and stuff, like, you know, I used to listen to Eminem like all the time because, you know, he was really popular, you know, and I listened to him because he was popular. And you know, some songs I liked, and you know, some songs, thinking about it right now, it's like I didn't enjoy it, you know, but I told myself I liked it, you know, because everyone else was listening to that, but I really didn't, you know. Um, Everyone has, like, nobody has like all good songs. Like, there's always like one bad song, you know. Like, there's never all good songs on a CD or an album. But I listened to it and I tell myself that I liked it when I honestly didn't. But you gotta be honest with yourself. So, you know, doing one thing can cause you to do something else that you don't want to do. You know, just like, if you don't do homework one day, like, this is something like that a lot of people don't know about me. I'm not ashamed to say it, but you know, it's the past. You know, something that have changed. Something that, you know, I don't really want to. You know, I don't really think about it. The only reason I'm bringing it up is so I can try to, you know, help you guys with your lives. Um, yeah, it's like the whole thing for yourself. Like, I remember, like, freshman year. Um, you know, it was like freshman year. Um, which, for any of you that, you know, don't know what freshman year is, it's like ninth grade of high school. So let's see, your first year in high school. And so when I was a freshman, I did pretty good. Like, my first couple terms, you know, actually did pretty good. My second term didn't really, you know, do as well. Um, you know, and then like the second semester, um, you know, my grades really dropped, you know, drastically. Um, and I mean, it you know, it was pretty much, you know, I didn't think to myself, you know, I became, you know, friends with a bunch of people, and you know, that's something I really didn't, you know, I didn't really make it a priority, you know. You know, you had just really thought about, you know, hanging out with friends, or, you know, doing stuff to impress other people, and I didn't really think about doing my homework. Um, you know, so I was friends with, like, a lot of people that, like, weren't even really my friends. You know, I didn't care to really be around them, but I made that a priority to, you know, say, hey, that's my friend. You know, just pretty much like people there. You know, these mistakes have really made me, realize, who I am, and what I need to do. Um, no one lives life perfect. Everyone is gonna mess up, more than once, unfortunately. Um, so yeah, like, where was I? Like, missing a homework assignment. Um, like the reason I did so bad, um, was because I had skipped class. Um, like, like my teachers, like, when we watch movies like a lot in this one class, and I just literally like walk out. I said, "Hey, I'm going to the restroom," and I never come back. Sometimes there's like 3 lunch periods. Sometimes I would literally go to all 3 lunch periods. I'd go to lunch and I'd just stay in there. You know, and I was nervous about getting caught like the first a couple times. You know, and then I was like, oh, this ain't really as hard as I thought it would be. To skip class, and then I kept on doing it. Um, it wasn't hard at all. It got me out of doing like a lot of work, and um, like I was told like before, because like when you're a teenager, you really learn that like everything you do is right. Like that's what you think. Like my English teacher told me a few years ago that teenagers think that everything they do is right. Like like something in their body is like telling them that everything is right. And it's not. Um, if people disagree with you, they're wrong, and that's just something that like teenagers got to, thinking about was, you're wrong if you know what I mean. Um, it's like my teachers, told me that I used to be good in school, and then I just kind of, slacked off. If you want to do good in life, 95% of the time, you're gonna need to go to college. It's a fact, but I don't really, I have mixed emotions about that too. But that's for another time. If you want to go to college, you got to have good grades, and for me, it's not going to take C's and D's. You know, so I used to sleep a lot in class. I mean, this really slacked off. I spent a lot of time in the principal's office. Which it's a different story, but I found my way to pass somehow. I don't really know how, but I did. I mean I passed every year. Then I was a sophomore, and pretty much like the same stuff. And I remember I started um, I just like started, I start the year off good, and then it was just like, I slacked off like the whole rest. And looking back, it's like, I wish I could have done, a little better. But it's something that you can't really change. You can't go back and say, hey, let me redo this. You can't. But, that's just something that you got to live with. And so, um, I pretty much back in school. I pretty much had like a couple best friends, and I had like like a bunch of just like a bunch of good friends. Um, Man, we were at like 15 minutes, 14 minutes. I'm looking at the editing program, and I put like 2 gameplays in. So by the time you're watching this, there's gonna have to like add something, or I don't even know. Um, yeah. So, anyways. Um, so it's like even though I pass every year, my grades were pretty much the lowest of lows. Um, you know, my 3rd year I went to the career center, which I got into auto tech, auto technologies. Um, you learn anything about working on cars, and the whole 9 yards right there. Um, and Even then, I mean, I loved it, but even then, I slacked off more than I really should have. There's a lot of times like there was stuff I didn't even do, but I obviously got, you know, obviously got called in for. You know, that's like I don't think there was a single year there wasn't. After like seventh grade, I didn't get called to the office. So it's like my third year, which is my junior year. I passed, but I had actually the reason was I was working. I was going to school. This is gonna sound like, man, look at this nerd, but like I would get up at 6:45, 7 o'clock in the morning. I'd go to school. I'd get out at 2:19. I'd directly go to my job. I worked at McDonald's, which it was great to people that I worked with, but that was not what I wanted to do forever. And I wanted to get out of there so bad. You know, so I'd get out and I'd go straight to work. A lot of times I'd work 3 o'clock. Several times I'd work till like 11. Several times I worked to 8, 9. So I was working pretty late. If I got off before 11, I'd go hang out with some buddies. If I got off at 11, I'd go pretty much straight home, and I'd play Xbox. I'd grind Call of Duty till 2, 3, 4 o'clock, and then either I'd stay up or I'd go to sleep for like an hour. And it's like that was like every night was I'd sit there and try to grind Call of Duty. But unfortunately that made me not do so well in school. So it's like don't listen to me and say um, you know I'm not telling you to stay up every night and play Xbox all night, but I mean what I mean, like you gotta do what you gotta do. You don't want to live, you want to live your life the way you want to live your life. I've thought about going to college, but it's just I really don't know what I want to go for. Obviously like some kind of like business, um, but it's really hard to tell. What I need to do. I'm not ashamed to say, that stuff happens. Just that's something that I gotta live with. You gotta ignore the past. This is like a quote that I thought of, like, ignore the bad, ignore the negative that you can't change, but change the negative things that you can't ignore. I love talking about life. Like that's honestly like the best thing. The times I think the most, like the hardest about life, it's like whenever I'm in the shower, because like every time I'm in the shower, I can think of like the best things ever. Or as I'm going to sleep, I think of like a lot of things. Or in a car, if I'm driving like on a long car ride, or something like that, that's whenever I think of a lot of things. So I mean, I love doing that, and always improving my life, and I'm trying to, thinking my way around something, and and how long has this been going? We're on like, oh my gosh, almost 20 minutes. Jeez. So, what was I getting at? Did I talk about? Yeah, I talked about fake people, liars. And just like, this doesn't really have to go with, but like I consider myself a pretty nice person, but I don't like it when people ask me for things like especially like when they're not a friend of mine, like if a friend asks or like someone like I don't even know and they ask me for something, like you know that's like I've got like shout outs like people at school, I'm gonna say no, and it's not. I mean, it's just I don't know, like I don't like that. That's like one of my biggest like pet peeves. Um, Like if like today I hit like 600 followers on Twitter. So, I'm starting to get up there, and it's like, people are asking for shout outs and people are asking for this and that. And it's like, no, if I wasn't, you know, if I wasn't starting to get known, you wouldn't have asked, you know, you don't want to go through life like that. If you're straight up, straightforward, you're blunt with people, you're going to go far. Am I forgetting anything? I always forget something. I realize I've been talking a lot. So, if you've been listening this whole time, thank you very much. It really does mean a lot that, you want to change your life, or, find this interesting, or both. Thank you. I guess that's it. So that's just pretty much me and my opinion on life. Let me know what you guys think. Put any comments below. Hit me up on Twitter. If any comments stand out, I always reply. I always, Twitter's always the best place to get a hold of me. So, yeah. Thank you guys, and, been listening for the whole 21 minutes. So thank you guys very much. You guys have a beautiful day. This is XCon Banks. I'm out.